The first thing we'll do on the resources page is change out the background image on the banner. So let's click on the layout settings and we'll go to background image. We'll click on the magnifying glass and we'll load. So now we go back to the desktop, back to Russell Morris, and we click on resources. This is the resources banner. So we'll wait for that to upload. And we'll insert the image and we'll save those changes. That's looking good. Okay, the next thing we will do is we will change this text. Now we're going to remove this subheader text, so let's just delete that and we're going to replace that with a button. So let's add the button from the content and we'll just click on button and then add, and you'll see that when we add a button it will automatically give us 3 buttons. So we'll show you how to remove that in just a moment. So let's now look at the text. So let's go to the resources and we want helpful resources as the header, so we'll copy that. And we'll click in here and we're going to go to the code, the source code, and we will put in the header here. And I'll just paste that in there and that's okay. And we're going to change that to black so that we can see it better. So we'll change that out to black. And then we want to replace the text below that. So we will put that here and then we'll go back again, go to the source, and we just want to change this here and we'll keep that as is, the same color as it is, so we won't change anything, and then we'll save the changes. So let's take a look at the resources page and see how that's shaping up. Everything is great other than the buttons. We need those put in a different place. So let's go back. Everything's great other than the buttons. We have 3 buttons, we only want 1, so we need to remove those and obviously style the button as well. So let's go into the button settings and we will remove the 2 buttons, and I'll just apply that so you can see the change. Now you can see that we only have 1 button. Now we'll keep the vertical spacer at 30 pixels, which is the same as the other page, and then we will change the button. We'll make that 2 times the size. I think that will be better, and then we'll make the text at 22. And we'll do a rectangular curve and we'll change that to Arial text. We want that to the left, and on the button itself we want to add the text that we have here, so we'll put in here color wheel. And then we'll add the link to the color wheel, which we will find in the footer. So let's just go to the footer and we'll click on here. And let's just highlight this one here and get the color wheel. Just won't save the changes. And then we'll put that link in here, so that we have changed. So let's see how that page is shaping up now. I think we should change this text here to the black rather than having it grey. So let's go back into this section here and change this to grey, to black. So that makes it a little darker. Let's change the color of this button as well, just to make it a little bit more interesting. Let's maybe change it to, let's go a browny color. Yeah, let's do it a nice brown. Yeah, that'll look good. And we'll apply that. And it goes into a nice red. Okay. So let's see how the changes have gone in. Text is clearer as you go up the page, and you've got a nice brown and red accent to the button. So let's go back to the page builder and add some content. And let's just reduce the space at the top and increase the space at the bottom so the text becomes more visible. So we're going to change this from 20% to 10%, and we're going to add that 10% that we took off onto the bottom, and we'll keep all the other settings the same. So let's save that, and let's just go back to the resources page, the live page, and refresh. So now we have the text further to the top, which makes it more readable, and it looks a little bit more pleasant to the eye. So let's go back to the page builder and start adding some more content. Okay, so let's add another row. So we go to the page builder, and we're going to add a 2-column row, I think. So let's go to the 1 to 2 column rows, and then we'll click add. So we want to, let's have a look through these and see which one we want to add. Let's look through these other pages. Alright, to the page 4. So let's add this one here, layout 168. So we'll just click the layout and we'll add in the layout. We're just going to change the position of that row. So let's move that row above the footer so we can see what's happening. And then let's just refresh, and you will see that the row has been added to the page. Okay, let's start styling this so it looks a little bit more presentable for this particular page. So we'll close all of this down. Okay, so let's make some changes to this, and then let's just see how we are. We're going to change this to 25 because we don't want the spacing to be too much. And we'll keep the left and right to 20. Okay, so let's start modifying this row. So we're going to keep the subheader, and then we're going to move the divider, and we'll keep the text. So we have subheader, divider, text, and the rest we will delete. So we'll just delete out this again and again. So we're left with the subheader, divider, and text. And we'll do the same again. Delete this. So all we want is a subheader, divider, and text. So we'll just delete these out. Just delete this one here, and the same again to the last section. More to go. So let's move the divider first, and then just delete everything below the text box. And then I'll delete this divider here, and delete this text. Okay, so now we're ready to start adding our content. So let's go to the top one. We'll keep the colors the same, they're really nice. So we want to take optimize images, that will be our header. So we're going to put that here. So we click here and then we will put it in the source code, so that we will put that there, and then we'll save that, and then we'll get the text that we want to go in there, and again we will put it in the source just here, paste it, and then okay, and we want that in Arial, and we want to remove the tick, and we want to put this in Arial, which I forgot to do also on the other one. So let's change that back to Arial, the other one. In fact, no, we'll keep it on impact, that's fine. So let's go to the next row and add the content there. So we want to check grammar. And put that in here. So we'll go to the source, and then we'll just paste that in there. Okay. And then save it. And then we will take the content and we will put that again in the source. Sometimes it's easier to put the content in the source, and then we'll save the changes. So we'll remove the tick and we will change it to Arial, and then the same again with the third one. So finally we'll put the edit images in here, back in the source, then we'll get the content and we'll put that in the source as well. Here, sometimes it will do that. Let's do it again and then paste. Okay, just need to take this off the tick, and then again change it to Arial, and that's that one. Okay, so we finished that side. So now we need to put the text in the other side. Now we don't want the header because we have the header here, so we're going to remove the header, and we'll also remove the divider. So now we will get the text, and we will put the text in from the top one. So here's the one here, the image optimizer. We'll copy that text in here and we'll just paste it in here. Control V. So it's a little larger and we want it in Arial. So we're going to put that at 16 and I'll save that text. Then the next thing we want to do is we want to add a button. So we're going to add this button here. So we just want the one button. And now we need to add the content. So let's just apply that and remove that button, and we will take it to the right. So we need to now do the settings. So we will have that at 22. We're going to times that by 2. We're going to put a rectangular curve. We're going to get it at Arial, so we have a nice button here, and we'll just put that to the right, and then we just need to get the content. So we're gonna put compress an image as the content for that button, and then we want the URL, which is here. And we want this to open up in another tab, so we'll check that button as well, and we'll save. So that's this one done. So that's the optimized images done. I will speed up the video while I do the other ones, because it is pretty much the same, and it will just reduce the timeline of this video itself. So okay, so we've completed this row, and let's just take a look at that on the live website and how it's changed. And that's pretty much it, complete. So we will leave that as is. Now, in fact, no, we won't. We could do with some space at the top. Now, if we add space in here, so if we make this 50, what's going to happen is that all these spaces will increase. So what we're going to do is something slightly different. Now we're going to add a new row, and it's going to be a custom row, and we just want it one single cell or one single column, and we're going to call this vertical space top. And we will add that. And then we will go to that row and we will add a vertical space. And we will make that 25. So let's go into the settings of the vertical space and make it 25 pixels. Now what we're going to do is add another row, exactly the same, custom row, and we're going to call this vertical space bottom. We're going to add that row, and then we will duplicate this vertical space. So let's duplicate that, and we're going to drag it into this bottom. Now what we will do is go to the page builder, and we will then look at the ordering of the layout. Now what we want to do is we want to take the vertical space top and put it above 168. Let it click into place, and then the next thing we want to do is take the vertical space bottom and put that below layout 168. Let it click into place. And now let's take a look at what that's done. You'll see the spacing here is quite narrow, which it looks okay, but it could look better. So now we will refresh that, and now you can see that the space is larger and it's a little bit more spaced out and more balanced. So now we've completed that row, let's go back to the page builder and add some more content. Let's just close all this off and scroll down, and then we will add another pre-designed row, and it will be 2 columns. So let's take a look and see if we can find another. Let's go to page 4. I think there's one here that we can use, which is number 158. So we'll add that row in, and let's rearrange the order. And while we're there, we will just drag this menu down, and we will drag the layout up above the custom footer. And let's take a look at that on the live page. Scroll down. So now we have the menu in its place. The text is looking good because it can be read. We have the resources going down the page, and then we have this new section that comes in that separates the white space. So now it's quite a nice looking page. So what we need to do now is change the image, change the text out, add some buttons for the resources, so we'll make this section look completely different. Okay, so let's go back to the page builder. Let's just close all this down, and we're going to change the image. So let's go to the settings, and we will change the image. Let's go to the magnifying glass. We need to go to the desktop, to resources, and we'll be putting this free images online image in. So let's click on that, upload, and insert the image, and then we will save that image there. So let's go to the header text, and we'll change that header text here. Let's go in here, we'll put find here, and then we'll put images in here so that we haven't got to copy and paste it there. And then we'll OK that, and we have that like that. Let's put a space in between there, and let's take that text to 80. Let's move it to 80, and we need to take it to Arial, and let's just check the settings in here to see what's happening with that text. Now we don't want an outline. Remember to save your font changes or your text changes before you open up the settings. Let's just close this settings down and reopen it. And we want to remove the outline, And let's see what else needs changing. We'll take the shadow out as well. We don't want a shadow in on the text. So that's nice and flat now. Let's look at that on the live page. And that's looking good. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so let's go into the column settings. And we've got a ridge border here. We want a border, but let's just do a solid border. And let's make it gray so it's not so. In fact, let's make it F7. And then we're just okay. And save. So let's look at that now on here. That's nice. Okay, so let's remove the text. In fact, we'll remove that text completely. And we're going to add another button. And we will put Pixabay on one. And Unsplash on the other. Now let's get the links, and we want to open these in different tabs. So now let's get the URLs. The URL for this one. And let's apply. So now we have two buttons, both different colors. The only thing left to do now is we want this centered. Sorry, the wrong one. So we're going to centralize this text, and we'll save those changes. And we want to centralize these buttons as well. At the moment they're to the left, so we're going to centralize them. And then let's look at the page and see how it looks. Perfect. So when you click Pixabay, it will open a new page and take you off to Pixabay, and the same with Unsplash. So that's our resources page finished, and we can now move on to our next page, which will be our donation page. So let's go to our donate page and start adding content.